Hi, I say hello to you whenever you're watching this video and from wherever you're watching it from. Welcome to my video tutorial. This video tutorial is going to be based on AWS Cloud Practitioner exam. So the focus of this video is to treat uh, the past question, and I will be able to explain to you some of the concepts you need to put in place in order to prepare for this exam. So it's important that you get prepared for this exam before going into writing it. So that's it. So let's get started. Uh, Let me tell you a few things about myself. Uh, my name is Oluwadadari Joseph Odulesi. Just call me Joe. I think that's easier for everyone. So I'm a DevOps engineer, AWS Solutions Architect. I have my AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner badge, which is the badge you get when you write this very exam. So my background, I have a background in software engineering and IT support engineering. So I also teach this course. I teach this AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner exam. I teach the course to students who want to write the exam. So I prepare them ahead for the exam. So that's just a few things about me. These are my LinkedIn and my Twitter handle. So you could reach me from any of this. Maybe you need to reach me for something, or you need to know what to read and how to prepare for the exam. I will always respond to you. So that's it about me. So let's talk about the details of the exam. So the number of questions you should expect in this exam is between 64 and 65 questions. And the total grade of the exam is actually graded at 1000. And you are expected to score 700 at the minimum. So anything less than 700 is fail. So the exam requires 70% pass. And one thing about this exam is that it is either pass or fail. So once you score anything less than 70%, even if you score 69%, it is fail. But anything from 70% upward, it is pass. So you just need to make sure you have nothing less than 70% of the exam. And that's why mostly I advise people to be 100% prepared for the exam, so that whatever it will take, you won't score less than 70%. So these are the details according to AWS. These are the focus of the exam. So on the cloud concept is going to take 26% of the exam. Security and compliance will take 25% of the exam. The technology, the AWS technology takes 33% of the exam. That is higher. And the billing and pricing section takes 16% of the exam. So this is just a breakdown of what each exam entails. So that's it. Now let's go into the questions, start treating them. So question number one for this video tutorial: which of the following are pillars of AWS? Yeah, so you are supposed to select three. These are the options. When you look at this option, the well architected framework, we have about six of them. High availability is not part of it. Operational excellence, yes. Fault tolerance, no, is not part of it. Security, yes. Cost optimization, yes. So the answer is actually B, D, and E. So that's it. Okay, which AWS service allows you to manage multiple AWS accounts simplify billing for all accounts, and apply policies for governance of those accounts. So when you look at this, it's talking about which concept allows you as one person to manage different AWS accounts. And if you have gone through the materials for this course and to understand how AWS works, you know that number A is not part of it, B is not. AWS CloudFormation, no, that has nothing to do with this question. So this question, the answer is actually AWS organizations. So it is AWS organization is a concept in AWS that allows you to be able to manage several AWS accounts under one big account, so to say. So you'll be able to manage several other accounts. It is called AWS organizations. So next question. Okay, which service can give you a secure and encrypted connection to a virtual private cloud on AWS over the public internet? So the concept here is that you want to have a VPC on AWS over the public internet. Let's see the options. AWS, no, A is out. AWS Guard Duty, no, that's not correct. Yeah, AWS Virtual Private Network, yes, that's the answer. Key management service, no, we're not talking about key management here. So the answer is actually C, is option C. Next, which AWS service enables organizations to create private link between their data center and AWS region that doesn't travel over the public internet? Now, this one is talking about that means by which you can have, when you look at the previous question, it travels through the public internet, but it has VPN or VPC, so to say. But this one, it doesn't travel over the public internet. So let's look at the options. Looking at these options, of course, AWS Direct Connect is the answer. AWS Direct Connect is a concept in AWS whereby you can have an hybrid setup of AWS. That means you can move your data from your on-premise data center to your AWS cloud without passing through public internet. So it's more like a direct link between your private your on-premise and the cloud. So the answer is actually AWS Direct Connect. So next question. Which AWS managed service provides the ability to set up and manage relational databases for most common database engines? So, okay, 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 A is not the answer. So the answer is actually B. Yes, Amazon Relational Database Service, RDS. So go and read more about RDS and you understand why the answer is actually B. So next question. Okay, which service provides nearly limitless object storage with multiple storage classes? You see, once you are hearing object storage, the first thing that must come to your mind in AWS is S3, Amazon S3. Once you are hearing object storage. So for this question now, I don't even need to read everything before I guess the answer. Multiple storage classes covering use cases from frequent access to archive storage. There are several. So the answer is direct from this option. The answer is actually Amazon S3. So Which element of AWS Global Infrastructure consists of multiple availability zone? You see, in AWS structure, you have region. From region, you have availability zones. From availability zones, you have data centers. From data centers, you have several servers, so to say. So here is saying which element of AWS consists of multiple availability zones. In AWS region, we have multiple availability zones. So the answer here is actually region, which is B. So the answer is B. Okay, look at the scenario. The organization frequently deploys standard web application stack for new applications. So what AWS service would enable them to define this common infrastructure in code and also dictate any drift to the stack configuration? Okay, once you are hearing anything, infrastructure in code or infrastructure as a code, IAC in AWS, one of the first things that must come to your mind is CloudFormation. We have several other ways to do infrastructure as code, but CloudFormation is AWS IAC concept or I should say feature. We have several other ones. We have Terraform, we have Ansible, and all of that. So for this, for AWS own is called CloudFormation. So for this question, reading this question, the answer is actually CloudFormation, which is A. So over implementing it in your traditional data center. So how will implementing elasticity in your cloud application reduce your TCO? TCO is total cost operation. Over implementing it in your traditional data center, increasing compute capability, no. Increasing, no, no, no. Yeah. C, reducing unused capacity. C is close to the answer. Increasing speed of data center, no, no. So I think the option here, the correct option here is actually C. Okay, you're looking to launch a static website with minimal configuration. Which of the following AWS services provides this feature? Minimal configuration. So the answer is actually Amazon S3, not CloudWatch. CloudWatch is a concept of AWS that helps you to monitor the activities, not Redshift. AWS Redshift is used for data storage, so to say. So we call it it's data warehouse. That's the name we used to call it. So it's for data storage. Code deploy, no, no. So the answer is actually Amazon S3. Your organization is working on. Now, there are key factors you should point out before picking your option in this question. incident management and investigation policy. Now that they have moved a pilot application into the cloud with AWS. Okay, so we're talking, like I said in a previous question, we have about six of this well architected framework. But here, the concern is on incident management and investigation policy. So, looking at this option, you are talking about security. So, the option is that the answer to this question is actually security. So, the focus of the question or what you're trying to do here is talking about something that has to do with incident management and investigation policy. So the option is security. That's what security does in AWS Well Architected Framework. So the next question. Okay, what is the minimum AWS support plan that provides the complete set of AWS Trusted Advisor checks? Okay, once you're talking about Trusted Advisor checks, it's not basic. No, it's not developer. That's beyond. So it's not enterprise. So the answer is business. Business. Which AWS concept is the definition of information required to launch an EC2 instance, including the contents. Okay, if you've ever launched AWS EC2, you will understand that before you can provision the EC2 instance, there's something we call AMI, which is Amazon Machine Image. So you must have an AMI, which will help you to launch whatever you want to launch. So the answer to this question is actually AMI. That's option A. So okay, your company wants to perform batch data analysis using EC2. Okay, these are the concepts you should look before you answer this question. Number one, it says there is a flexible start and stop time for this workload. So what this means here is that okay, your company is not working strictly based on a time frame. It means the application or whatever you want to launch can be stopped at any time. You don't mind, and you can have it started at any time. You don't mind. So you don't mind your app having a downtime at any time. So now with this, so it can stop and restart as needed. You don't mind. So what's the most cost effective? Once your application you don't mind it stopping at any time, then you want to go for spot. Spot instance helps you is the cheapest. The only concern about spot is that your application could be stopped at any time. So since that is none of your concern at this moment, then the answer to this question is spot instance. So hybrid approach for storage, and they want to leverage the cloud as a backup while having low latency access to data. And it's look okay. So the option to this, the answer to this very question is actually Amazon's AWS Storage Gateway. Go and read about AWS Storage Gateway. You will know this is exactly what the service which AWS Storage Gateway gives. So the next question. So you want to protect your web application. So the answer is actually C. AWS Web Application Firewalls. This is under security, so you can go and read about it. That's why this exam you have to read the course material well and be well prepared before you go into the exam. So, next question. Okay, according to the concept of least privilege access, what should you set up when adding permission for an IAM user? Okay, so the option is actually C. C is the most correct option from all these options. You have to grant the user permission for only the items needed by that user to perform a task. We call it least privilege access under IAM user policies. So you only grant a user the least only what they need to work on. For instance, if you have several users, so if someone is a developer and you just know, oh, as a developer, these are the things you need. You don't give that person beyond what that person needs. So you don't give the person permissions beyond what is needed. It's called a least privilege concept in IAM policy. So okay, so the answer here is actually cloud HSM. Go and read about this. So the next is a bonus question. Okay, I deliberately put these bonus questions. We'll have about three of them. I want you to answer them and then give me your answer in the comment section. So this is the first question. This is the first bonus question. So I'm not going to provide the answer. I want to see your answer in the comment section. Thank you. So next question. Okay, when you look at this question now, your company wants to migrate to the cloud. You have multiple licenses. Now, these licenses, we have data license per server. So the fact that you have multiple licenses per server, it means it will be difficult for you to share server with other users. So the best option you should go for is dedicated host. A dedicated host is a concept in AWS that gives you your own server. So you don't have to share the hardware server, so to say, with other users. So the best option for you here is a dedicated host. So next question, if you want to engage AWS resources for paid engagement. So the answer here is actually A. Yes. AWS professional services. They will give you what you want for this question. So the next question, which of the following is an economic benefit of migrating? So which one is an economic benefit? Looking at this, eliminating operational, no, no, no. The answer is actually D. So you reduce your total cost of ownership because once you migrate to the cloud, you don't need to buy the hardware infrastructure, so to say. So you can just go for options that fit what you need to do. and which helps you to reduce your total cost of ownership. So, okay, you deploy. So once you are deploying your application across multiple AWS availability zone, one of the major reason you are doing this is because you want your app to be highly available. So the answer to this question is high availability. To enables you to, okay, so you want to virtualize your current AWS cost and predict future cost based on your current usage. So the best way to do this is to go to AWS Cost Explorer. So AWS Cost Explorer shows you your current usage, and with it you can predict, oh, this is what we are most likely going to use before the end of the month or before the end of the year. So as the case may be. What tools would you leverage to make a case within your organization for moving to the cloud from a okay? So here you want to convince your organization on why they should move to the cloud. So which of these can you use as a tool? For me, the answer is A, TCO calculator. TCO is just total cost of ownership. By the time you calculate the total cost of ownership, uh, for instance, your on-premise server, you have to buy hardware, you have to do maintenance, you have to maybe power and all of those things. By the time you calculate them, compared to uh, putting them on the cloud, you see that you spend more with your on-premise data center, so to say. So the answer is actually A. Okay, you want guidance. I think the answer is A. You have to go for trusted advisors, AWS trusted advisors. Once you are hearing anything domain name system or DNS services in AWS, the first thing that must come to your mind is Route 53. Amazon Route 53, that's what helps you to manage your domain name in AWS. So the answer to this question is actually B. What will IAM users use to authenticate themselves when using the So as an IAM users, when you want to use the AWS CLI, you must have your access key because you will use this for authentication. So next question. So imagine your team, they would set up the account. This is what you should consider before picking your question. So before you picking your answer rather. So you want to set up the account and infrastructure within a day, which they will build a prototype for this application. So when you look at it, that means you are trying to leverage on concept of agility and increase speed. So you want things to be done so fast. So the answer to this question is actually C. Okay, so which concept? The answer to this question is actually AWS organizations. With AWS organizations, you can share reserved instances across several other accounts that you have under that big account. So it's one of the advantages of AWS organization. So you have deployed your new web application across multiple availability zones for high availability. Why are you doing this? Which of the well architected framework recommend this? The answer is actually reliability. The reason you are deploying across multiple availability zones is because you want your application to be reliable. You don't want to have downtime, so to say, when deploying across multiple. Which design concept are you implementing? From this option, the best answer is design for failure. Design for failure. So you are designing such that when there is a failure in one availability zone, and another availability zone can actually pick up. So you don't want to have downtime. So you are designing for failure. But eventually there's a failure somewhere. So, okay, MySQL database in the cloud. They will need to have access to the underlying operating system to install OS. So you need the OS. So from these options, the best answer is C. So you have to utilize MySQL on Amazon EC2. With this, you'll be able to perform these tasks. So the next question, which service provides an in-memory data store that supports both Redis and this? Once you are seeing anything Redis and Memcache, the first thing that should come to your mind is Elastic Cache, Amazon Elastic Cache. So the answer here is A. So when you look at it, they said they are able to take the application and spin up a version in the app southeast region. So which option is here best is actually B. I want to go global in a minute. So you are able to launch your app in another region fast. So the answer is actually B. Bonus question two. So this is the question. These are the options. I want to see your answer in the comment section. What is your answer for this bonus question two? So we have two bonus questions right now. Okay, let's move. So your organization is looking to leverage both. So when you look at what is happening here, you want to have both your traditional data center and you want to have your public cloud. That means you want to have an hybrid system. So the answer is D. So high availability and elastic NFS file system for both. The answer is actually C. Amazon Elastic File System. So The answer is D. So when you look at this, we are talking about region. So the answer to this question is actually D, availability zone. You want to configure same permission for multiple users. So the best option here is B. You create the group, assign permission to the group, then you add different IAM users to the group. So this is the best option. So the best resource is for them to check well architected framework. We have about six well architected framework on AWS. So when you look at this question, once you're talking about logging the actions and you want to audit an account, you should be thinking of CloudTrail. CloudTrail is an AWS service. AWS CloudTrail is an AWS service that helps you to audit your account. So you can be able to check things that happen maybe in the past 7 days or in the past 30 days. You can be able to do all of that. So anything auditing, once you are hearing auditing, the first thing that must come to your mind is CloudTrail. So, okay. So you are moving your data storage. When you look at this question, data storage, first have that in mind. You want to move data to the cloud. You're evaluating different approaches for data warehousing. Don't forget, there was a question we treated earlier, and I was talking about Redshift. And I said Redshift, that one of the way we describe Redshift is data warehousing. So in this question, we are seeing data warehousing. So Redshift should be coming to your mind. So it says what AWS service provides a manage uh, for this. So you are okay. When you look at these options, database might no, Amazon Dynamo no, no. So the answer is actually D. Yes, with Amazon Redshift. So go and read about Amazon Redshift in case you have any doubt about this. So, okay, you want to configure, you want to access an audit configuration. You should be talking about AWS config. That's the best option among these options. So you want to launch multiple instances that all have the same OS customization. So this is simple for you to be able to do this. The first thing is the best way to do this is to have custom AMI, custom Amazon machine image. With this, when you have a custom Amazon machine image, you will be able to use that AMI to launch several EC2, and they are going to have same uh, operating system that you have customized on that AMI? So the answer is actually B. Which disaster recovery approach lowest cost? Where the lowest disaster recovery approach is actually backup and restore. That's the cheapest. So, so when you look at this question, isolate the behavior of component from other components that depends on it. So what you are trying to do here is you don't want the failure of one component to affect the other one. And this is what brought about the concept of loose coupling in AWS. So we have a concept of tight coupling, which means everything is dependent on each other. But here you want to have several of these components and make them not to be dependent on each other. So the answer is actually D, loose coupling. So you want your EC2 to run for at least 3 years. The best option here is uh, you want to also avoid any large expense tag. Now, the fact that you want it to run for 3 years, the first thing that should come to your mind is reserved option. Now, the fact that you want to avoid large expense upfront, that means you don't want to pay upfront, then you should go for B. So the best option for this question is B. So in AWS, once you are talking about NoSQL cloud database with single digit milliseconds latency that operates as a key value. Okay, these are the basic things you should have in mind when you are going for this exam. Anything that has to do with, because the answer actually is C. Now let me explain. Once you are hearing AWS or Amazon DynamoDB, there are three things that define this very uh, service. Number one is that it is a NoSQL database. It operates as a key value, and it is used for document store. So any question where you have these three things or these three properties listed, then what should come to your mind is DynamoDB. So you are supposed to choose two: duration based on the memory allocated, yes. Number of instances, no. Number of requests, yes, yes. The answer is actually A and D, yes. Yes, these are things you should consider when you're using Lambda, because it's a way you will be charged. You can be charged based on number of requests your application is making, and you can be charged based on how long the application is running. So here we are talking about responsibility of the customer. And you look at option A, data center. No, that's AWS responsibility. RDS instance, no, that's not your responsibility. Data center security, that's for AWS. So number D is actually the option, passion of OS. Yeah, this one is your responsibility as the owner of the AWS account. So when you look at what is majorly the major factor is later the same day, the team has machine learning environment up and running in AWS to begin experimentation. That's agility. You have it done within one day. That's very agile. So it's a concept of agility in cloud technology. The answer is actually operational excellence. Yes. So, okay, here you are supposed to choose three options. Shared response. Which areas would be the responsibility of customer? So, management of edge location, that is not your responsibility. So, number A is out of it. Encryption of data in transit. Yes, that looks like what you should do. You have to encrypt your data. User access management. Yes, that is your responsibility. You must be able to manage how your users have access to your account and other things. Data center network connectivity, that is not your responsibility. So the options are B, C, and E. So, okay, this is what you do with Amazon Mercy. Yeah. So go and read about this service. This is exactly uh, one of the major things that this service provides. Okay, okay. I hope you are enjoying it. We are on question 54. We still have about 10 or 11 questions to go. So this you should I believe from the questions we've treated so far, you can see the way the questions of AWS exams are. So, like I do tell people, don't go for this exam without preparing well. If you don't prepare well, you might not be able to pass. So, you can see the way the questions are coming, you can see. So, let's continue. So, you want to have 24/7 access to documentation, white papers, and support forum. Okay, this is the least uh, this is the least support plan that you can have. So the answer is actually basic. This is basic. It's the cheapest of all the support plans. Cost, so cost of purchasing. No, no. You have to factor this into it. This year. So the answer is actually B. So this is because either you run your app on the cloud or you run it on premises, your custom software development is still constant. So you still have to pay for your software developers. So C, B is out of it. answer here is actually Snowball. So when you want to migrate your data from on-premise to AWS Snowball, and under Snowball we have several, we have about three different fragment of it. We have Snow Mobile, and also go and read about Snowball. We have about three different. There's one that can go as far as petabytes and all. So for this question, the best support plan that you should go for is actually developer. So here you are trying to have a concept whereby your application can scale. So maybe if your user increases, it can also increase that way. So the best option here is to go for D. You don't want to guess, you want to stop guessing your capacity. So you want your app to scale according to demands. So the answer is actually C. Okay, what feature of VPC works like virtual firewall for networking? When you are launching a VPC, there's something we call security group. So security group actually it helps you to describe the ports or the access you want to your VPC. So you can decide to open, let's say, port 22, which is for SSH, or you close it. And also, the best option is C, security groups. Okay, what AWS can be leveraged in deployment of your custom software is the best answer is actually code deploy, AWS code deploy. So the option is B. All right. So we're on question 62. I hope you are enjoying this. If you are enjoying it, let me see in the comment section, and try and share this video with as many persons that will need it. Like the video. So let's continue. Okay, which management service could provide distribution of incoming traffic? Okay, here you are just describing the concept of load balancing. Okay, the concept of load balancing in AWS is such that okay, you might have like several EC2s, so you don't want one to be overloaded. So the concept of load balancing will share several requests across the several EC2s that you have in place so that one will not be overloaded. So it's called load balancing, elastic load balancing. So okay, okay, the answer to this is actually configuration management. Yes, you both have configuration duties. It's just that you are not configuring exactly the same thing, but you both have to configure. So AWS has its own configuration. You too, as a user, you have your own configuration on your client server. So okay, the best option is D. Yes, AWS Control Tower. So, all right. So this will be the last question for this video. Okay, how can you improve the security of your IAM user account? Let me see the options. Okay, the best answer here is C. So once you enable your multi-factor authentication, it's, it helps to improve the security of your IAM user. So, so guys, this is bonus question 3. So I want to see your answer. So we have 3 bonus questions. I want to see your answers at the comment section. So that's it for this video. I believe you enjoyed the video and this has helped you to prepare and know your standing for this exam. Like I always say, don't go into this exam without adequate preparation. I remember I used to have a student who just went into exam without preparing well. Of course, you know the results. The student failed, and by the time we started the course afresh, I began to mention some things, and the students like, "Oh, I never heard of this. I never heard of this." So don't go into this exam without adequate preparation. Is very, very important. Read your course materials, and if you need any assistance, you can always contact me on any of this my social media accounts. So thank you. I wish you success in your exam. Take good care of yourself. Bye for now.